Welcome back to After the Whistle. Jason, joined as always by Allison, and happy to have back in the studio with us Curt Johnson, president of the Carolina RailHawks. And Curt, thank you for being here.
Glad to be here. Thanks for the opportunity.
And you guys got a lot going on, including the U.S. Open Cup getting ready to start, and you guys hosting the third round game against Charlotte.
Yeah, honestly, it's the most exciting time of the year for me. A lot of things come together at the same time as the Open Cup starts. You know, we've got our spring season really coming to a head, and the World Cup a month away. So yes, lots happening, and looking forward to the U.S. Open Cup.
And so some of the big news from the U.S. Open Cup: if you guys win against Charlotte, and I don't want to get ahead of ourselves here, but if you guys win against Charlotte, you'll be hosting MLS team, right?
Yeah, that's right. If actually the winner of our match against the Charlotte Eagles, if it's the Eagles, they would host Chivas USA.
Right.
If we host, if we win, which certainly is the plan.
Now this year they expanded to 80 teams, so there's actually an extra round, isn't there?
Yeah, that's right. So we enter a round later. And it evolves each year. But, yes, we enter a round later, and we go straight into a round that we play USL Pro team, Division III team right down the road, the Charlotte Eagles, and then the winner gets MLS team. Yep.
And this is the Chivas team that you guys beat last year.
That's right. Yeah, we beat them in the round after the Galaxy and just prior to the Real Salt Lake round. I've been watching them in their team performance, and they're doing quite well. They just tied a game this past weekend, so it'll be a difficult game. Maybe they'll come for a little revenge, but first and foremost, it's the Eagles. They are going to come into Wake Med Soccer Park with a lot of confidence. They have a long tradition of doing well in the Open Cup also. So it's not just us. They have a history of winning games in the Open Cup, winning big games.
But do they have a home game streak like we do?
No, they don't. I don't think they do. But it'll be a tough game for us. That's for sure.
Right, Wake Med Soccer Park.
Little North Carolina battle.
That's right.
Yeah.
Charlotte versus the Triangle.
Wake Med Soccer Park has been very good to you guys. 19 in a row unbeaten at home.
That's right.
You guys on the road this weekend, going to Minnesota, but then you come back home for the spring finale.
That's right. May 31st against Tampa Bay Rowdies. Could be a huge game based on the results this weekend in Minnesota. Going to be meaningful no matter what, because whether we win the spring or not, we want to be one of the top teams overall throughout the whole NASL season, which will position us really well for the NASL playoffs.
Now, and I saw that this game, it's actually what you call your camp out night, so people can actually come and bring a tent and stay the night.
That's it. We've got a lot of Cub Scouts, Girl Scouts, Y Guides, all of the above that'll be spending the night at Wake Med Soccer Park after the game on the 31st. Yep. And CarolinaRailHawks.com for more information.
If you want more details, go to CarolinaRailHawks.com. Let's switch gears now from what's going on here in the Triangle to what's going on internationally with soccer, because like you mentioned before, the World Cup coming up, and there have been a lot of stories about what's going on with the situation in Brazil. Yep. Are they going to be ready? Yep. Can they handle this kind of crowd? And what's your take on what's going on, and what are you hearing about the situation?
I think part of it is the normal build-up to a World Cup. There are always concerns about stadium preparedness, readiness, security. Some World Cups, it's more related to traffic and transportation issues within the country. The media has to have something to talk about, and I think that a lot of this boils down to the hype around the World Cup and all of us wanting to talk about it and discuss controversial items. So that's part of it. I think they do have some real, stadium challenges, But when the lights are turned on what is it, June 12th or whatever the date is, 13th, you're going to see an incredible World Cup in our same time zone, basically. So that's a treat for, in particular, those of us on the East Coast, with a great competition in a backdrop of Brazil and such a soccer passionate country. I think the television ratings are going to be off the charts, and I think it's going to be a fantastic event.
Right. I think like when you look at the way the media portrays it, sometimes leading up to it, there were a lot of problems in Sochi, but things went off almost flawlessly there. So
no doubt about it. I mean, I remember back to the 1994 World Cup when I was working for Adidas, and a lot of my job centered around the marketing of Adidas in that World Cup. And, will anybody show up? That was the question. And it turned out to be, the most successful in terms of attendance and at the time financially successful World Cup in history. So I think some of this is just the typical drama that happens before a big event.
Now, for those of us not traveling to Brazil, you guys are going to be having watch parties for...
We are, yes. We are planning a watch party. Haven't announced it yet, but maybe I'm announcing it now. I don't know. We will be announcing it very shortly for the U.S.-Ghana game at Wake Med Soccer Park. A lot of the details to be determined just in the next couple of days, but it's going to be a ton of fun. Everyone's invited. A free event. And there will be components that will include food and things like that. But there's also, you can walk in at no cost and watch on the video board. So the huge new video board, state of the art that we have there. If fans haven't seen that, they need to come out and see it. But it's going to be basically a celebration of soccer and the kickoff to that great event.
And that's the best way to watch it, is surrounded by a bunch of fans.
Absolutely.
As well. And if you guys haven't been out to Wake Med Soccer Park, it is absolutely fabulous. I was out there this past weekend. We did Taste of the Triangle, eating food, watching soccer. It was just a fantastic time. So congratulations to you guys. That's fantastic atmosphere.
I appreciate it. And we're hosting the U20 national team this week, and our senior team, as well as some of our academy players, Carolina RailHawks academy players. Some of the feedback that we've received from some of those U20 national team players and coaches that hadn't seen the facility lately, they're just reminded what a world-class facility we play in. And in particular, the playing surface literally is a World Cup level playing surface. So it's fun to be a part of it.
It stands out when you're just sitting there looking at the field. It's like, that thing is immaculate.
A lot of people think it's a turf field, meaning a artificial turf field, because it is so perfect. But no, real grass and world class. There's no doubt about it.
Also, I want to talk a little bit about the situation with the future World Cup and Qatar and what's going on there, and what are some of the things because they talked about maybe it's too hot to play at the time of year that they normally play the World Cup. Yep. What are some of the things you're hearing about possible solutions for that, or what they're going to do in that situation?
My guess is it'll end up being played during the winter, their winter, our winter as well. And, quite honestly, from a competitive standpoint, that probably works better for our players, because a lot of them are MLS players. And I think by that particular time in what would it be, 2022, even more of our World Cup players will be MLS players. That's my guess. And so that would fall at the end of our season. I think one of the things that we're hearing Jurgen Klinsmann say right now, as our team is in camp in Stanford getting ready for this World Cup, is that the MLS players are at a disadvantage because of the fact that they're only maybe 8 weeks approximately into their season, and so they're not at the peak fitness, peak playing level that they will have, later in the summer after they've been playing in their season for months. So having the game at the end of, or having the tournament at the end of the MLS season, hypothetically in 2022, could benefit actually the U.S. national team.
And of course, we got plenty of time to think about that.
And guess what? It'll change. The plan will change 4 times between now and then. Who knows? Maybe we end up and it's in the United States somehow, some way. I doubt it, but you never know. In 2022, maybe it will be.
We could hope, right?
Yep.
Well, you guys, U.S. Open tournament, Wednesday night, Charlotte Knights. That game is at 7:30. Is that correct? 7:30. Yes. Wake Met Soccer Park.
Yep.
Tickets available online. CarolinaRailHawks.com.
That's it.
Curt Johnson, thank you again for joining us.
Thank you very much for having me, as always.